Hey, this is Jamey with Stonemaier Games, and today I'm here to talk about the newest Magic the Gathering set, Kaldheim. I played this just yesterday when it went live on Magic the Gathering online, and I'm looking forward to a draft in person someday when it's safe to do so. But right now, I just did a draft league on Magic Online, and there are some really cool mechanisms in this game that I'll talk about here. Let me start out with the one that I love the most. One of my favorite all-time mechanisms in Magic is a mechanism called Suspend. Suspend is where you usually have some pretty high cost cards, and you could pay the casting cost, the large casting cost, or you can pay a very small cost to suspend that card. And every round, every turn, you remove a token from that card, and when it has no tokens left on it, it enters play. There's something kind of like that in Kaldheim that I really, really like, and that is the foretell mechanism. You can kind of see it on this card here, though I think it'll be hard to read the text. But basically, this text says, I'll just read it out loud. It says, foretell has a 0 cost. This card has a 0 foretell cost. During your turn, you may pay 2 colorless mana, and it's always 2 colorless mana. Well, I believe it's almost always. There are some exceptions to that, but most of the time, I believe it is 2 colorless mana to exile this card from your hand face down. Cast it on a later turn for its foretell cost. So, for example, I have this Scarecrow, which is a 2/3 creature. It costs 3 colorless mana to play. I can just play it if I want. Or I can pay 2 colorless mana, put it aside face down. I know what it is, my opponent doesn't know what it is. And then on a future turn, or whenever I want, in fact, I don't know why I wouldn't foretell this card. That seems way better because this has a 0 foretell cost. At any time, I can pay the foretell cost, in this case 0, to play that card down. And I believe, if I do this correctly, you can do that at any time. So it essentially becomes a flash spell. It becomes an instant that you can play at any time. I could be wrong about that. Correct me in the comments. But I love the idea, especially, here's another one, Jarl of the Forsaken. So this one has a higher casting cost. It's 3 colorless, 1 black mana. It's a 3/2 creature. The foretell cost, as usual, is 2 colorless, but if you want to actually foretell it, if you want to play it from exile, is 1 colorless and 1 black mana. So it's cheaper to do that. But I love that it gives you something to do early in the game when you have less mana. You can put these cards aside, and then you can be sneaky at the right time and mischievous. I love being mischievous in Magic and playing that card from the foretell area, from the exiled area. Really, really cool mechanism. That's definitely my favorite mechanism in the set. There are a few other mechanisms that I thought I'd mention. One is a carryover from the last set, which are double-sided cards that you can play. In this case, it's double-sided lands. So you can play this card as a swamp, essentially, or as a forest. That's really cool. There's also, they brought back Sagas. I love Sagas, which are they're enchantments that have kind of stages. They tell a little bit of a story. And as you add tokens to them each round, a new ability activates. This is Binding the Old Gods. When you put it into play, it lets you destroy a non-land permanent, and then the next round, when you put a token on it, it lets you search for a forest card, and then in the last round, creatures you control gain Death Touch, and then the saga goes away. Thematically, I really like the addition of snow in this set. So here's a snow creature. And this creature, the Icehide Troll, has an activation cost where you can pay 2 snow mana, any snow mana. It's colorless, so you can pay any type of snow mana to give +2/+0 to this creature, and it gains indestructible. So I like that this creature is just fine even if you don't have snow mana. But if you do, regardless of the mana type, you can pay that mana to boost this creature. And I like in a Viking kind of a Norse Viking themed set, I think snow makes perfect sense. I think it fits thematically really well into this set. And last, there is a new mechanism called Boast that I think is also pretty good. I think Foretell is more interesting, but Boast is pretty cool too. Where basically Boast says, activate this ability only if this creature attacked this turn and only once per turn. So basically, at any time after a creature decides to attack, you can activate these Boast abilities. But you can only do it once per turn. They're kind of boasting about how brave they are for going into combat. So I like that thematically, and they're just nice little activated abilities with the condition of having attacked that turn. But Foretell is, I think, the sweet spot for this set. I think it's really, really clever. I love that there's something early to do in the game and a way to be sneaky later in the game depending on when you decide to play those cards. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this latest set from Magic, Kaldheim, or if this Foretell mechanism reminds you of a mechanism in Magic or another game that you think is worth talking about. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks.